Lego Prime was great. No knees aside, I love the thing exists and it looks awesome, but it's Lego and that invites modification, creativity, and a lack of Bionicle. You know, the usual. This mod though isn't your standard Lego fare because Lego lighting is becoming a thing you see less often. This is a kit made by LightGo. I see what you did there. They were kind enough to send over their Lego Prime lighting kit, and they have a ton of other sets out there and loads, I mean loads of Lego sets that you can use these kits for. So definitely check them out. Links in the description below, and if you use code ThatToyGuy20, you'll get 20% off your order, which is a huge chunk. So definitely go check them out. Thanks for sending this over. So the first part about this is its installation, and it's tough. It's not horrible, but it wasn't the most fun thing to do. It's a lot of wires, which makes sense because it's a lighting kit. So you have to be careful with the boards and the cables that have the LEDs. Make sure you touch an unpainted metal surface before handling the boards, as static discharge will fry them. That's not a kit thing, that's just something you learn when building a PC, so it's just safe to know. I will say plugging the wires in is satisfying because they all just click into place really nicely, and the instructions are digital, good, less paper waste out there, love it. And they're full of clear pictures, which helps a lot. And once you get everything plugged in and situated, you are left with this. He doesn't really look very different at all, minus some of the wires you can see hanging out. But if you flip the switch on the conspicuous battery bank, he lights up like a Christmas tree. These are really bright, and they do look neat. One of my friends did, however, point out that they act more as interior lights because of how bright they are. And yeah, I would like to see them toned down just a little bit, but it's not horrible. The battery box hanging out, I can forgive, because like, how else are you gonna power this thing? But all the exposed wires hanging off the back, I'm not the biggest fan of. You could probably like put some extra pieces in there to help cable manage it because it is Lego, but I'm just using the stock configuration here. While he looks cool, the play of this set gets really hampered, and upon installation, I decided not to do the lights for the axe and the jetpack because removing and plugging back in wires will lead to them breaking over time, and you have to detach those for transformation and stuff. His articulation also takes a bit of a hit. Let me just show you what I mean. So articulation on Lego Prime wasn't exactly the greatest when it came out. I mean, his arms were pretty good, his legs were not. The torso section was fine, but it kept wanting to split in half. But with the lighting kit in it now, there are a couple more problems. So there's a cable going directly into his head, and that means you can only rotate it that way because unless you give it a lot of slack, which would mess up the transformation, he can't look the other way. He can only look that way, which is a little annoying. If you had the wire going into his arm for the axe, you would not be able to articulate this arm as much as you can now. That's one of the reasons why I don't have it in, is because I just don't want a wire going through 1, 2, 3 joints, basically. That's too much. There's also wires in his chest, however, they're like hidden away, which is fine. Kind of wish they did a thing to light the matrix up, but then it would have not been removable. Now, there's a lot underneath here, as you saw earlier. And that means that the waist joint it's a bit precarious. So the way that this works, all the wires are going around this way. So twisting it this way, you get to a certain point and then the head starts going down, right? It starts pulling things. So you can only rotate the waist that way. And then the legs, forget about it. There is 2 wires running up the back of his legs and into his anus. This little board right here that has all the connection points for it. It's supposed to stick to this, but you can't do that and transform it at the same time, so I left it hanging. But because of that, the legs, I honestly wouldn't really move them unless you're trying to transform it, because the wires, like it's for, I say it many times in this video, as an interior lighting setup, great. For this, I mean, once you put these LEDs on, you aren't really going to want to play with it anymore because you buy something like this to display it, usually. And that's why these things work best as interior lights, and definitely why I would recommend you check out their other offerings over this one, because there's no moving parts in a modular building or an ideas building, and they look fabulous in those. Seriously, well done. Transformation also takes a hit and can now only be done in a very specific way, so I'll show you that as well, so that way you don't break any of the wires. So this is the part I don't like the most, and that is getting this guy into his alt mode, because a lot of wires. There's a reason why leader class toys only had wires going into the head, and that was it. Wires all over the place on an articulated toy that's supposed to change shape. I'm turning the lights off. So we'll start by getting the hands at least in their configurations and get the arms all situated. That's fine, unless you have the lighting thing going through the arm here, you're gonna have some issues. Now with the head, you cannot rotate the head 180 degrees before folding it away. You just simply fold it away. And it doesn't sit fully flush. It's just, we'll fix that in a minute. Next, you want to carefully, very carefully, fold this up. And I just realized that the door next to me is open and all the sound is echoing. Let's close that. Now we want to straighten out the legs. Click them together, rotate those up. Now this, you can only rotate the waist in one direction, and that is going to be this way. Rotate it 180 degrees. Now the head will sit flush. And now we got to do the legs. So carefully, slowly, make sure you're not holding, your fingers not in any of the wires here, because that's where a majority of the folding is going to happen. So I like to hold it like this and just sort of fold it forward a little bit. And then that allows you to just bend the rest of it down. Oh, ever so slightly. The grill does not tab in anymore because there is a giant control board in the way with everything on it. So just gonna leave that as it is. Now we're going to bring it down. He's already splitting at the torso again. There we go. Fold the feet down. That'll pop out as usual. Fold the feet down. Get the hands down. Slowly bring this up. Now you have less slack on this because you folded all the wires, so you have to be very careful with the front. Just fold this whole section in and clip everything into place. Try not to get tangled with the thing. Just get everything situated. And now he's a truck. So yeah, it's a very nice display thing, and if you plan on displaying Prime, then these work great. But part of this thing's whole shtick is that it's a Lego version of an action figure that invites posing, and because of the character, it also invites transforming. And this kit does get in the way of that. Again, there are other static offerings, kits like things that go in buildings. They were great, no problem, because there's no moving parts. But on an action figure, if you display Prime, I recommend it. Like if you only just stand him there and nothing else, then this is perfect. But if you play with your Prime, then I would definitely say pass. But that's my look at the lighting kit modification for Lego Optimus. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.